What's poppin'? It's your boy T Mike, man. And I just want to inform people about the world is a much darker place than it seems. And that's why a lot of corruption is thriving in this place. I'm going to start with I haven't specifically said too much about these Epstein file things. And for a lot of the social media warriors, as I call them, and people asking, well, that just show why people ain't riding in the streets and why we ain't beheading the authoritative figures and all of that. If you knew just how common pedophilia is, it might make you be like, what in the entire fuck? I'm gonna show you a statistic. How I found this statistic is crazy. Cause I had a partner and he had randomly told me some shit like he went to Catholic school when he was a little boy. And my humor is very dark. So I started laughing. And that led me to a rabbit hole. I'm finna show you how much the Catholic Church has paid from sexual assault cases. Now that you have seen that number, how many children did they fuck for that to be the case? Now, that's insane. So all of them is doing it. So you know how many pedophiles and how much child pornography and all of this shit is discovered. Look at how much is discovered. How much of this shit goes undocumented. So it's so many. So it's a bunch of people. You could walk past one of them motherfuckers every day. You probably do with the amount of numbers that is. That's how common it is. You could walk past a child molester every day and you wouldn't even know that shit unless they on the offender list. And not many people have even ever looked at the offender list. It's shit like that, bro. I done seen as an adult male, people have said some shit, and I've overheard conversations where a niggas, it was some young girls like in their teens, they was walking past, and then I heard a nigga, he was around a group of niggas, and he just bust out, man, I can't wait till they get 18. And then I looked at him. I was across the street, and I looked at that nigga. And then when he seen me, he automatically went into shame. Like he put his head down. He tried to hide it behind people and shit. Like, but nobody around him said anything. But when I looked at him, he knew he was foul as fuck and that shit was wrong. But since if I wouldn't have ever looked at him like that, that nigga would have still been feeling good, smiling out the way he just said. But he knew. So even when people say things like younger girls can lie about their age to people and doing this and that shit, whoop the whoop, bro. That is true. It's, some girls are fast and all of this shit, but as an adult male, you know when somebody is young by how they talk and how they act. Some people stop developing they mind at a certain age and you be like, this motherfucker childish or this and that. But when a child is a child, I don't care what you say. If you talk to a 15-year-old, you gonna know you talking to a 15-year-old unless they have the old soul type of shit and all of that. But usually those people who have the old soul are very wise and they know I shouldn't be fucking with no adult if I'm a child. So a lot of this shit just be sick shit going on. That's why ain't nobody rioting about no Epstein files and shit like that. Cause that shit happening right under your nose, man. And next, that leads me to say the next topic of as a person who is, I guess you could say, a child molest survivor, this and that. I was molested as a child. That leads me to the point of one thing can make you, you can either dwell in your trauma or it can make you the complete opposite and be a better person. Cause they say most people that fuck with kids and shit, it happened to them and they continue a cycle. On the other side of it, the people who had something happen to them as a child become very overprotective, and they protect children. And they, in their mindset, I can say personally, my mindset, I'm never gonna allow that shit to happen to no child in my under me, around me, or none of that shit. I'm gonna be. I watch for certain signs and shit like that. So that leads me. I was having a talk with somebody, and then they put their sister on the phone, and their sister was still in high school, this and that, some shit, woo the woo, and they just wanted me to talk to them or something. So the young girl, she get to telling me about her boyfriend or some dude she talked to or some shit. She was like, yeah, he 18 and he on probation and this and that. Why the fuck was she saying that to me like this is a characteristic of this nigga? And I started laughing. And then the young girl got mad at me and started saying shit like, see, you don't come from that life, you don't know this and that. And I snapped for a second. I was like, hold on, bro. If you only fucking knew, you young ass girl, but the thing that made me laugh was because this nigga didn't even give himself a chance. He 18, he on probation, and how I said, she said it like it was his characteristic type of shit. This is why a lot of young niggas be doing a lot of bullshit, because these girls be hyping them up, and it's like that's what they get. Like that's a good thing or some shit. This nigga ain't even give himself a chance at life, and he's already a product of the system. So he on probation. That means he mess up, he automatically going into the cell. It's shit like that. I have to laugh because I just mentioned before my humor is very dark. Because it just be like, what the fuck? Like she was saying this shit like it was cool. Like this is what makes him him because he got put on probation. What the fuck? All this shit is stupid, bro. This world is very dark. A lot of young niggas ain't even gangsters because something happened. It's a validation thing. Some people weren't good athletes. Some people weren't smart in school. Some people wasn't. They didn't get enough attention. But once they picked up a gun and they started doing this and that, and girls start giving them attention, and people start be like, oh yeah, he a killer, he this and he that, they finally feel like I'm somebody, I am validated, I have found my purpose. And you killing random people and people that ain't even, I promise you it'd be a lot of dumb shit. You ask people why they into it and they'll say, well, he did my dead homie or he did this dead homie. How the fuck did you even, so what happened before that? Why did this person diss your dead homie? Because of the shit they promoting in the music industry and all of that shit. They figure out this is how we handle conflict. Instead of being two niggas and being like, hey man, that shit you did wasn't cool or some shit before we even get to a dead homie shit. How did this shit even happen? Yeah, I'm talking about it be some crazy shit, folks. But all this shit, bro, I say, all the trauma shit, bro, nigga been through all of that shit. It can either make you a better person or you can sit there and be miserable and become a victim and have the victim mentality, bro. And when I speak about revolution and us taking over and this and that shit, the first step, bro, is revolutionizing yourself. How can you help yourself and become a better person to yourself? How can you help be a better person, a productive person to the world? How can you not be so selfish and you know what I'm saying, shit like that? When you develop yourself, it naturally changes your environment around you. People start seeing you different. If people don't want to heal and grow, they gonna fall away from you. But you gonna start to see changes and okay, I'm talking to some better people now, or I feel better about myself now. I sleep better. I just breathe better. Like everything become better when you start to work on yourself. And that's when the unity comes in. Because I said you're going to attract more positive people and more people that want to change and have better outcomes. But You can also, as I said, you can go to the other side and you can sit there and live in negativity and let that shit eat you up and make you become a horrible individual. But that's what I wanted to say today, man. Miss saying these words, bro. I go back and watch these videos years in the future and past that I've been doing this shit, and I'd be like, God damn, that shit, nigga needed to hear that, bro. Like I say, I know I can't save everybody in the world. I'm not trying to, but the ones that I can touch and better like-minded individuals, bro, I'm glad to be able to speak to y'all. So y'all be smooth, man. Stay blessed. Y'all hear the birds and stuff. It's a beautiful nature. I'm looking at a fire. That's why I keep looking off. But y'all be smooth, man. Believe it.